What's up, guys? Hey, so I'm going to tell you about one of the biggest scams in all of racing. I mean, this is right in line with Huck convincing his buddies to paint the fence and pay him to do it. Seriously, it's that bad. I'm going to explain to you how this thing's going to lay out. So the Nano-Extreme website, that's the pain cream that I've used to make my shoulder feel so much better. I thought I was going to have to get shoulder replacement, and I have no idea what exactly is in there and how exactly those nanos get in there, but I'm told it helps heal it, and my shoulder has not felt this good in years. Use code COOKSY, get buy one, get one free at Nano-Extreme, and the website is back up. While you're doing healthy stuff, head over to Coach Rob's store and check out his sweat rate calculator. He has a way of determining how much water you need depending on how much you sweat. It's a sweat rate calculator. So check out Coach Rob's store, and that Nano-Extreme, and you will be dialed in, trust me.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So we've got three main promotional groups that run the sport. Over in Europe, we have MXGP, which is In Front Motorsports, I believe, with the Luongo family. In the United States, we have the Coombs Mafia, that is the Motocross Outdoor Nationals. Then we have Feld, the circus promoters. Yes, the same ones who ran the Barnum and Bailey Circus, Disney on Ice, and all those ridiculous things. They run Supercross, and they have duped people, and they don't want people talking about it. But I'm going to break it down and put it in simple terms that everybody can kind of understand. So this Motocross of Nations thing absolutely are Motocross of Nations. Look at these dipsticks up there laughing that they're getting all this money off riders they don't even have to pay to show up. Riders that pay their own way there. This is disgusting. You're trying to tell me these factories that spend all that money to get those riders there, these guys go up there and give a thumbs up? Tim Cotter, Davey Coombs, and the Luongos? They are laughing all the way to the bank. They have Huck finned all the manufacturers. You guys should be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you. I'm embarrassed that I paid $40, but I really want to watch the race. So maybe I'm part of the problem. But they are scared that I'm telling people this stuff. They do not want this out there. That's why they ban me from events. I'm like that parent from Huck Finn that comes in and says, hey, that's work, guys. He should be paying you, and trying to separate it. They don't want me sharing the information about how much these guys are making. How many people show up for that race? And I'm telling you, I know I bought it. A lot of other people are paying $40 for this event. They went as far in Las Vegas as Juliette Feld, this chick, they went as far as to stalk Mike Grondal and the Grondal family in their VIP suite at the SMX race. They stood there and harassed poor Eric Grondal's kid, accused the kid of live streaming. Listen to this.
It was awkward because they came in and there was three of them, and one of them wasn't a security guard. It was the chick from Feld.
Oh, okay.
His daughter or whatever. They were all in there just watching us.
In the corner?
Didn't say a word. Yeah, they were just standing there just staring at all of us, watching us. They tried saying that my son was recording live and live streaming. And I'm like, he barely cares about dirt bikes. I can promise you he has not done anything. That was their excuse for reasoning as to why they were in there. But really, it was because Cooksy had people sending him videos.
I saw this.
And yeah, and then he was posting them saying that he was there but in disguise because he was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
My dad had 3 tickets for him, and then two other people that were with him. They came and confiscated them from him.
God.
They deactivated his tickets when they found out that my dad screwed up and transferred them in Cooksy's name.
Yeah.
So as soon as they saw that in the database, they canceled all 3 tickets that were on his phone. Yeah. So then he just kept posting those videos just to with them on Instagram.
It's funny, but I'm sure they don't think it's funny. But
no, they definitely don't think it's funny. I mean.
But, whatever.
He hadn't even done anything wrong yet.
Hey, look.
If that doesn't let you know that they're not scared, that this message is out there, that I'm kind of messing with their free ride, that's why. But what they don't understand is what I'm doing will actually make them more money in the long run. They're just too ignorant to see it. So Dave Coombs Sr., that is the dad of Davy Coombs and Carrie Coombs, you know, the Mr. Burns looking lady. He was a race promoter in the late 70s and early 80s. Back then, if you wanted to have a big race, you had to put up a big purse and advertise it. He started the Blackwater 100. It was an off-road race that turned into what is the modern-day GNCC racing. And he was a pretty successful promoter. He put on some good money races, he put on some supercrosses, and he did some stuff he was a good promoter. But he realized pretty quickly, once Motor World came in and started filming and showing clips from the Blackwater 100, the prestige that it brought to the series to have the exposure. And young Davey was paying attention, and he saw that. And he went to journalism school, and he started doing his Cycle News internship and all that different stuff because he knew if he could get people to follow the history of the sport and invest in the prestige more than the purse money, he could fleece them when it comes to having events. Davy Coombs is one of the best storytellers when he's talking about the history of the sport and what Loretta Lynn's means and what it means to the sport, and it gives it a value that he doesn't have to pay out as a promoter, and it gives it a value where people are willing to pay to have that prestige. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So much so that he's actually even tricked Feld into being a part of it, and now they're working together. He has his own media outlet. He's got his hooks into all the other media outlets in this sport, the major ones. And that's why he gets so upset when somebody like me comes along. You remember Huck Finn? So Huck Finn had to paint these big fences white, and it was some sort of punishment because he did something wrong. He convinced his buddies that it was so fun to paint the fence that they ended up giving him like marbles, and they ended up paying Huck Finn to paint the fence. That is what is happening here. Davy Coombs and Feld are Huck Finn. They've got the factories paying them to go put on a performance, put on a race, and he's got them paying to be the show. That's where we're at right now. These teams pay for the opportunity to be the show at these races. Take away these factory teams, there's nothing. Yet they're having to pay to attend these events and be the show. It's crazy. This is some straight up Huck Finn garbage. Now I understand, back when in the 80s, when this was getting going, the factories just wanted a place to go showcase their brands so they could get the exposure and make sales. Those days have long since passed, and now that series that they were thankful that it was even there is extremely profitable, and they're still paying like they were back when it wasn't. They're still paying to attend the event and be everything that we want to go see. Listen, you could rent a stadium, you can have fireworks, but if you don't have the top riders in the world, nobody will go watch. Roger DeCoster, Mitch Payton, and all these team owners are paying to paint the fence. That's what they're doing. And the Motocross Donations is the worst of all offenders. They have taken patriotism, they've taken these factories, and they've done... So the Olympics, for the longest time, has used this same thing. The Olympics exploits athletes like nobody's business. Those athletes don't make nearly as much money as they should. But if you take the athletes out of the Olympics, it's nothing. But there's some people making huge, huge money on the Olympics, and it's not the athlete. The Motocross Donations has followed that exact same format. Hey, come race for your country, but pay to come do it. Think about this. The Motocross Donations, and what pissed me off is I did pay my $40 to watch the Motocross Donations because I'm a knucklehead and I just want to watch it. I paid my $40. How many other people paid their $40? How many people bought tickets? Then there's event sponsors. All the riders are for free. Seriously, they have got to be making a crap load of money on this race. The promoters have this idea that they should be thanked for holding the event and keeping the tradition alive while they're raking in millions upon millions of dollars? At some point, these guys painting the fence need to take a stand. You're being played as fools. Roger DeCoster, Mitch Payton, you guys are being played as fools. Right now, racing teams are an expense to the factories. They could be at least even or maybe even profitable for these factories. These factories could get that same advertising with Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Mitch Payton and Kawasaki. They could be receiving money from the series. If they got 40% of the money coming in and the TV contracts, they would be operating at a profit, not a loss. You guys don't think that would help this sport grow? It absolutely would. These teams wouldn't be stressed out. They'd have more opportunities, more kids would get rides. They'd have more money to do amateur programs and groom up and coming talent. Look at the sports. What's happened to the ones that have collective bargaining agreements with their competitors? Football, baseball, basketball. When they got that collective bargaining and the players got more, what happened to those sports? They all took off. So while these promoters think I'm trying to take money out of their pockets, I'm not. You will make more money in the end. And I know exploiting athletes is nothing new. It's happened since athletics have started. The problem is athletes are very, very focused on themselves and the task in front of them. And typically they're young. They haven't been around long enough to understand. That's why I'm putting this responsibility on these teams. The teams, they are the ones that are there. Mitch has been around for a long time. Roger DeCoster's been around forever. They've seen this sport go from where they were fortunate to have a place to race to where they're racing is making a truckload of money. And now what I'm proposing is not something that's going to be an issue if there's no money. That's what everyone, oh, there's no money in the sport. Good. If you give somebody 40% of nothing, it's still nothing. But give them 40% of the TV contract and the ticket sales. Maybe even after expenses, and just give them a rundown of what the expenses were. If that's the case, and there's no money to be had, no problem. The problem is there's plenty of money, and that's why they're so pissed. When I talk about stuff like this, it's like when the parent came and said, hey, Huck, why are these guys doing your work for you? And kind of blew the scam. I'm blowing the scam by telling these people how much money's out there, and that's why they're so pissed. I mean, just look at the AMA. The AMA says they don't have enough money for flaggers. They don't have enough money to give the proper staff at these events. If you look at the tax return that I did, let's say all their expenses, their $11 million in expenses was legit. There's still a $2 million surplus. Where's that $2 million going? What did they do with that $2 million? And why isn't it used to fund the designations team or flaggers or safety? And no, I'm not saying it's brand new that athletes are getting exposed or acting like this doesn't happen all over. But in my sport, and the one that I love, I'm going to speak up and say something for these athletes. We need everybody, all aspects of the sport to grow in order to grow. This is not just a niche sport. This is a sport with an entertainment value beyond many, many other sports. And it's dangerous and it's hard. And we need to reward our athletes and teams that put in the effort to go to this. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's Huck Finn rant. It pissed me off when I paid $40 for the designations, and it just got me thinking. So here's your video for the day. Check out Epic Garage Designs. Travis has some of the coolest stuff for your garage. It's badass. Go to epicgaragedesigns.com. Hit up Ride Strapped if you want your free Cooksy shirt. Just click the GoFundMe link in this description and donate over $20. And then when I email you, just respond to me with your address and your size, and we'll get that shipped out. Or just head over to Ride Strapped to get your Red Pill shirts or whatever else you want. And if you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. That's pretransport.com. A shipping company you can trust. Pretransport.com. And here's today's member of the day. Thanks, guys.